Jeff Howe, The Athletic, now joining us. And before we get to Championship Sunday, we want to revisit with the Patriots offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, who's now emerged as one of the front runners to be the Las Vegas Raiders' next head coach. Jeff, we all remember his debacle with the Broncos, but I want to bring up 2018. He basically had the contract in front of him, shook hands with the ownership, was ready to have his introductory presser, and then left the Colts at the altar to remain the OC of the Pats. How is Josh McDaniels trusted to be a serious candidate this time around?
I'm glad you asked, because I spent most of my December asking people around the league that exact same question. And really, a lot of the mistrust was more at the ownership level. And that's not like a small thing. Those are the guys who write the checks. But McDaniels has a pretty good reputation around the league. People who know him really know what he's all about. They understand kind of the nuts and bolts that went on behind the scenes. The family didn't want to move to Indianapolis. It just didn't seem like the right fit. From a football perspective in Indy, I'm not excusing, having the agreement and then walking out at the 11th hour or anything, but I think more people behind the scenes understood the reasons behind that decision. And then you look at the reputation, the way that he is kind of he's confronted some of those, the criticism and taken it head on, the way that he's learned under Bill Belichick. And then over the last season, what he's done with Mac Jones has been incredible. That really caused his stock to soar again. But, you have to factor in 4 years ago in Indy. And if you are a team like the Raiders, you need assurances. You need to reach out to McDaniels' agent and say, hey, if I'm going to request him, if we're going to go through this process, is he truly interested in coming here? And if you have those assurances, by all means, make this thing go forward.
Of course, the Raiders also considering the Patriots director of player personnel, Dave Ziegler, for their GM position, so it could be interesting hire there. So, all right, let's get to the games on Sunday. Today's going to start Chiefs-Bengals, 3 p.m. kickoff. Patrick Mahomes versus Joe Burrow. All the talks around the quarterback play. But for you, what's a key matchup in this one?
I can promise you, I will put a substantial amount of money on the line, on the table right now, that Joe Burrow does not get sacked 9 times and win this game. So for me, this comes down to the Bengals offensive line against the Chiefs defensive line. And Chris Jones, the Chiefs star defensive lineman, when he's going, he is a game wrecker. He can single-handedly do it, almost to the extent of an Aaron Donald. He just doesn't really maybe get that attention. But Chris Jones can be phenomenal. And if the Bengals offensive line isn't good enough, they're going to have a hard time throwing the thing all over the yard and keeping up throw for throw or score for score with Patrick Mahomes the way that Josh Allen and the Bills did next week. So that's going to be huge. And quite frankly, I don't think with the way and the level that the Chiefs and Mahomes are playing right now, the Bengals can really match that.
Now let's go to the primetime game. Rams 49ers. This one interests me more as a head coaching matchup. Of course, Kyle Shanahan has beaten Sean McVay 6 straight times. How much do you factor in the head coaches in this one when you're trying to figure out a winner?
Well, it's a good question. So the 6 straight times, I asked somebody who's been part of a good chunk of that rivalry of recent in the recent years, and they said the reason why the 49ers have been so much better is they're just straight up a more physical team. That's not really all about coaching. That's just about, these guys can really take it to the Rams, who are a finesse team, and the 49ers really aren't all that much of a finesse team. They can get after the quarterback. They can dominate the line of scrimmage. They can run the ball, and they try to. So I think we all sort of get sucked into the new era of football. And when the Rams are right, Stafford's throwing the thing down the field. You got Cooper Kupp catching, long balls, and Odell Beckham, and making big plays. And we all get sucked into that. Not that stuff's not important, but look at what the 49ers have done. The reason that they have gone on this little run here is because they are so physical, because they are creative with the ground game, because they do play a really tenacious brand of defense. I think the 49ers absolutely have a good chance to pull off the upset.
All right, it's refreshing to hear physical football being played on Sunday. Always refreshing to hear from Jeff Howe of The Athletic. Thanks for everything, man.
Of course, thank you.